Hello everyone. So coming up this week we are making a lintel out of box steel for our barn, and we set out some bases for friends Marius and Jeanette. We're also showing you our summertime routine for all the hot animals on the homestead. We have a little lesson in rendering for Steve and Natalia at Portuguese Quinta Garden Culinaria. We lay a few more blocks on our barn, and after much request, hang on, can I get that right? Yeah. We have a Cornish pasty recipe. So I think the last bit of that came out alright, but so yeah, I've added a few more blocks on this corner. The doorway now is up to full height. Let me turn the camera around. Yeah, that's up. This notch is for the lintel that's going to go above the doorway. Yeah, yeah, I had to, well, I've used up, near enough used up my mix, and the camera that was doing the time-lapse overheated, so I hope it came out alright. There we go. So this now is window height. I've got a little window. I got off someone, I can't remember who it was, I'm sorry. I got it ages ago. So the window's going here, but there is going to be a strip of skylights for the roof of this barn. So, yep, so there we go. Time for me to get cooled off and a few more refreshments. So now that I've cleaned up the bottom one and the edges of this one, and I can now weld, so I've got nice clean spots to weld, so I'm going to weld this onto the other one. So there we go. I spared you watching all that welding, but it's all welded up now. Nice. Oh, but disconnect this earth. So I'll just put it in place. So yeah, I'll have to bed that on, but it'll sit there like that, and that'll be plenty strong enough for...
Well, if it can take your weight, darling.
What are you trying to say?
Well done.
Okay, so we're back with Marius and Jeanette. So where the base was dug out, where I marked in an earlier video, I've now set out the bases for containers. We were going to concrete the whole lot, but somebody gave an estimate of 15,000, so yeah, that's not happening, that's ridiculous. So yeah, we're going to put the containers on these 4 concrete posts now. They're all in line and to the size of the containers, and then what will happen is afterwards the centre section will be concreted in, because realistically underneath the containers you don't need concrete, and this is all solid granite underneath here, so it's a really good foundation. And here's the man. You happy, man?
Hey, it's looking good, eh? Have some water?
Yes, please.
There you go, before you die in this heat.
Right, it's about 11:30 in the morning, and I'm just about to go and check up on the chickens, check all their water and things, because sadly we've had a couple that I believe have suffered through the heat and hadn't made it this last couple of days. But I'm just outside our front door. There's the door. And I'm just about to, I'll turn the camera around and you can just see, so we're in the shade, as you can sort of see, that's the front there, so I don't know if you see that. So bear with me one moment while I'm not very good at this technical stuff. At all, it won't turn. Right, I've just turned the camera around, so like I said, we are in the shade and you can just see it's about 34, so you know, that's bearable. Through the lovely curtains. Oops. So as you can see, another terrible cloudy sky, but right, we'll go and see these chickens. Right, so we'll just do a little walk down with see my fizzog for a change. So I've just got a bucket just to fill up a few bits and pieces, so we'll just walk down and go and see how the guys are in it. So see the bit of background as we go in. If I do, I shall turn around a minute. So here are the poor little hot chucks. Hello, chucks. Hey, I know it's all a bit hot, isn't it, for you guys? But we should fill up all your watery bits again and check how the shade's doing. So this is Fergal. He's a handsome, well, cockerel, one of them. Thank you very much. A few of our other little ones here. We've got this Gladys, Still looking really unattractive, but that's his nature. And here we have the 3 little cream leg bars. They're not quite so little anymore. But everybody's, like I say, all the poor chooks, they've all got their beaks open, panting away. So this little area here, this is where the water is. It comes directly from our spring. So once I'll fill up the bucket through the pipe, because that water is obviously going to be hot, so they won't have that in their paddling pool. And I'll show what we've got here. So we've got the orange trees that provide a nice amount of shade as well. And generally the chooks spend most of the time with their feet in the paddling pool. So that's the idea of this, was just to come in, and what I'll do in a minute then, I'll empty that one out and just put some colder fresh water in. So I shall do that now. The other thing I've been doing, I come down every little bit, because this is our little seclusion area at the moment, and I've got an umbrella. It's just to move it every now and again, just to give a little bit extra shade. And I'll put some more water in the little piece there, so Harriet can have a bit of shade. She's had some melon this morning. There's a couple of apples and stuff there as well. It does look very barren, but she gets greenery and fresh fruit and veg chucked in on her. And like I said, sadly Uma was one of our ones that didn't make it, so poor little Harriet here is currently on her own. So we will be rearranging a bit more here for the chooks. But like I say, this is their favourite haunt under this big orange tree. Lots of shade. And like I said, I should just go and sort all their water out so they've all got some fresh water. Just like to say, this is like the pre-compost. So any bits and pieces that I clean out from the chickens every day all goes in here. And again, like I said, I'll take off the first lot of hot water that'll come out of this tap, because even though the majority of it is underground, where it comes out here, that's obviously been heated up in this ridiculous sun we're getting here at the moment. I'm sure you've heard nearly every other YouTube channel in this area saying how hot it is, but it is summer, so we just get on with it. So I'll put the water in here, so that'll give them, they'll love to jump in there, but they all find little shady areas to go in anyway. So this here is, wow, that's pretty warm. It's just amazing how it does heat up. And I'll put a bit here as well, because they like to paddle around, see the little divots where they've been dust bathing, so they go in and get that cool. So like I say, I'll chuck a bucket in the compost first. Hello chooks, here you go. Oh, big beat. Better, it's called, yeah, it just takes that first pipe, because the actual pipe run isn't too long. So this bucket's going to go in Harriet's little run. So she'll have some cold fresh water to paddle in if she wants.
So I've just got back from Marius and Jeanette's place, and I'm just going to go down and check and see what Andrew's doing down here. Are you?
Hello.
Right.
Yes. Oh.
Keeping it on the floor.
Well, yes, they've just had the scraps from the kitchen. No idea what. And yes, good job you're here with the proper camera, because mine overheated. So I got to a stage to do some water. she had her water, but I'm just going to redo it and make sure that the shade is in the right place. Because I say I need to come down every 2 or 3 hours just to check the shade on Ariette's especially, and make sure she's all right. So here we go. Even though there's no wind, but so like I said, at the moment it's just a little brolly, but all I'm doing is moving that and putting the water in here, so you'll have a good cool area. The brolly gets cool. So that's a nice little shaded area for her at the moment, and then she'll be in here and hopefully she should be alright in here. Hello you! Yeah, there's a bit warm in there. See, look at her little... yeah, go now for a paddle. They like to stand in the water and keep their feet cool. So like I said, the guys had another load of water in their pond.
Oh yeah.
And even though some still like to sit out in the sun.
Yeah. Sunbathing.
Sunbathing, yeah.
So, what about the pigs? What do they do?
What do they do? Well, they probably are asleep.
Just checking you lot have got plenty of water.
Sorry we woke you up. No, I don't know what Wilbur probably is still asleep somewhere. Money pause. I'll tip a bit of this out because it's a bit warmer.
Hang on, I'll do it because you need to lift it.
Okay. Well, Cindy's drinking it.
Hey, you're not having any food.
Give it a swirl around.
Just empty that out a bit.
Let's get some of the warmer water out, yeah. Oh, here comes Wilbur.
Hello, mate. Hello. What a noise.
So these guys have, check the water. Shush. Oh, look, he's sitting.
Hey?
He's sitting, he's so good.
Nothing there for you. Just water. Yeah.
So Wilbur has just come out of the wallow area by the looks of things, because he's got a big tide mark on him. I don't know if you can see that because they're folding him.
What a noise. So they think if they make a load of noise they're going to get fed. So I'll show you what they've got over here in the shade. So I've deliberately left one of these pipes off. So these guys have a wallow. This is the water that runs, that bypasses the well. Yeah. So the well, the little box of water that we have is the well, or the spring I should say, overflows and it runs down, all the way down beside, we're up at the pipeline down here, and then the pipeline continues here and out through there.
And they're really big wallows.
So they've got a big wallow here. All the way up this side basically, it's in the shade, you can see it's still running. There's no food, it's a camera. It's a camera! Come on. In fact, we could pick him some grapes, keep him quiet. He's just eating all the time, you got. Oh, fingers. So yeah, they have that water there. You can see how dry things are here. And here underfoot. And that runs through this to this pipe, so very, very small amount, but it's still running water. And then they've created this wonderful wallowness.
It's huge, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's so good for them.
Yeah.
Might clear those brambles out the way so they can get there if they want to have a drink.
So yeah, they've got plenty of water to keep themselves cool. And also, oh look, that's handy. So it's all the way down to this orange tree, which is some of the trees we've been watering as well because they desperately need it. Here's our apple tree, you know, the very poorly apple tree is bearing loads of fruit this year. Absolutely loads.
He's quicker than I am.
Yes, because he knows I've got apples here. Yeah, try them.
Do you know what?
They're right, aren't they?
That's pretty good, Wilbur. Yeah, look, you've got one there.
Let's pull off some of the small ones. So this is one of 3 massive Sharon fruit or persimmon trees we have. As you can see, they're all starting to ripen now. Show you this one over here. Yeah, it's quite a lot of fruit on these every year. But this year they're small because very small, yeah. Because we haven't had a lot of rain. Everything's still dry.
Alright, is that what you fill?
Yay. So, next up are the goats. They get a few vines twice, 3 times a day, and we make sure their water's always topped up.
Come on.
Although they have their own water source here as well. So this time of year, these guys are drinking
a lot of water.
A bucket full of this a day. A little house. It's actually quite cool in here because we've got a gap over the roof, so the wind blows through. So in here it's actually very cool. I'm quite impressed by that. You can feel the cool air blowing in through these gaps. So yep, they're plenty cool enough, but goats really don't mind the hot weather. So we've just moved their water back into this nice cool shed. Yeah, because there it would get sun in the afternoons, but here it's obviously not going to get any at all. The reason we moved it outside was they were kicking up a load of dust and filling the top of the water with dust. So,
because they're daft.
As you can see, the goats are doing a wonderful job getting rid of the brambles and everything else. And I'll show you their other water source. I was going to say their other water source is here, but it looks like it's finally dried up. Yeah. Yep, not much water in there anymore. So that water used to run down here, which is why we've got this big clump of elephant grass here. And all this area is very green, so that must have recently just dried up. And the goats have absolutely mullered the willow tree. So, although it's still alive, I think we'll have to put a cage or something around that. Yeah, so this is our top pond, or sharka. And as you can see, it's got very low. And when it's low like this, Max tends to spend a lot of time in this hole here which he's created, because it must be nice and cool next to the water. That's still from this level, I estimate. Over there in the centre of this, it's still 4 or 5 metres deep. And it does go up, all the way up to Angie's feet up there, which I'd say is another 3 metres above this level. Hello, mate.
There's still plenty of dragonflies and things like that.
Yeah, and we have a couple of turtles in here as well. Tartarugas.
All the little Max follow.
Yeah, you love it, didn't you? Yeah, so Max tends to dig wherever it's cool. Digs a little wallow for a little apartment for him. Yeah. Don't you? Hey? Yeah. Yeah. And we've recently put a new shade over his makeshift house, just so there is plenty of shade. Keeps his water in the shade and his bed in the shade, so everything's nice and cool. Yeah. Isn't it, mate? Yeah. So if you look from there, generally he spends a lot of time in here. He's got a couple of apartments he's made here as well. So there, under the shade of these cork oaks. But yeah, everything this year is suffering from the lack of water. You can see some of the olives are all a bit shriveled up and not in the best of health. Yeah, really desperate for water, everything. Yeah, these two spoil.
Yes, they get to. I try to keep them in as much as possible during the day, only because they're a bit special. They are good friends of ours, Jackie and Cyril, bought them some cooling blankets. I'm sure you've remember seeing the video before where I put one on Quinn, and it was like I was murdering him. They have a real weird thing with cool towel or anything like that. We put down, they'll avoid it like the plague. So I just try to keep them in. If we're home, all the doors are shut, keep them in. We've got a little fan going here which I'm stood under, and it's actually quite nice because
I'm enjoying it.
yeah.
The walls are thick granite, so it is quite cool in here compared to outside.
So yes, it's we do what we can for them. You know, they've always got water available, or they just flake out like the cat does. Boris is very good at. He normally lies in the doorway though, doesn't he?
Yeah. Okay, as a lot of you have wanted, a traditional Cornish pasty recipe. Okay, so what we're using is, so we're using strong white flour, T65, yeah? Half a kilo of that. Oh, and scoop thing. Oh. Half a kilo of that stuff, and we want the yolk of 2 eggs. 2 yolks, that's all, just the yolk. There's many ways of doing it. This is how I do it. 1. Just 2. Don't need to be that fussy. And we'll save this for the glaze over the pasties when we've made them. So in the process of making these pasties, I've had to make room over here, move the chopping board, because of all the produce we've got coming in this time of year. We're running out of room. So we got all sorts of tomatoes and obviously eggs, and melons and watermelons and pumpkins and more tomatoes and everything. So yep, we're a bit crushed for room, but there we go. That's our strong flour, 500 grams, and 2 egg yolks. So to the flour and the egg yolks, I'm going to add a nice generous teaspoon and a half of pink Himalayan salt, but any salt will do, honestly.
You just like pink.
So to the flour, eggs and salt, you need to add, for our recipe, because we've got plenty of it, this is our own olive oil from 2021, so we're using up the last of 21. You just need to add it until this looks like breadcrumbs. You know the crack. You know what breadcrumbs look like, so basically we'll just put this on. Really smells of olive oil.
But oil is used instead of butter in this recipe because, like you said, we've got plenty of olive oil.
Yeah.
So it's an olive oil pastry as opposed to a butter pastry.
So there, as you look here, hang on. As you can see, this is what they call what resembles breadcrumbs. I've done it in a mixer because it's hot and I don't want my hot hands mixing this for ages. It's so much easier in the mixer. So there we go. Quantities, I don't know how much that was, to be honest. Just keep adding it really slowly until you get the breadcrumb looking mix. So to that now, so you have your flour, eggs, salt and olive oil, ice cold water. Look, you can see the ice bobbing in it. Try not to get the lumps in there. And we'll just put that on the mix again. A bit slower this time. And you just add the cold water until this makes a dough.
So the water was kept in the fridge as well. Because we have cold water at the moment because it's quite cold, is it?
No. So just again add a little bit at a time. Until you get a big lump of pastry. Until the mixer can't take it anymore. There we go. So after a good mix, you should have something like that. The paddle should be clean-ish, and so should the bowl. Yeah? So we now have a big lump. It's just enough, 500 grams for me is enough to do 2 large pasties. Yeah? Make a lump out of it, slap it on some cling film, and then it goes in the fridge for at least half an hour.
Maybe longer in this weather.
Maybe longer in this weather. It is rather warm.
But like I said, it's like a lot of people have been saying. Yep.
So I've made it not too thick, so it does get cold in the middle. We'll just pop that in the fridge, anywhere you can find room, for at least half an hour. Okay, so to add to what we've already, no, the pastry's done. So we need a good size for 2 pasties, good size onion, good size potato, yeah? Everything equal, all the vegetables of equal measurements. We'll just chop these up now. So with the potatoes, they don't want to be cubed, they want to be in like slices like this. Don't know if you can see this. Yeah, like thin slices. The best way I find that is to cut them in like 1/2 inch thick, 12mm strips, and then just turn them that way on, and then just cut your strip to get your slices. Simple stuff. So ingredients we have onion. You saw the large onion. Swede, about the same amount of swede, not turnip, swede. And the diced potatoes. Yeah, the potatoes at the moment are in water, stop them going brown. I'll drain that off before we use them. And skirt beef. Yeah, again the same sort of amount, so equal amounts of everything. This has been in the fridge for nearly an hour now. We've fed the animals and stuff, and we've changed, showered, and everything else. No, I can't get in. So there we have our pastry. It obviously needs splitting in two for two large pasties. A little bit of flour. What we'll do is split it in half first, like so. We have a rolling pin. Make it easier for yourself. Do the basic shape first, and some flour on it. So, I haven't the best culinary skills for this type of thing, but you know.
Rough and ready.
Rough and ready. Okay. So thickness, I don't know what to say, less than 1/4 of an inch, so it's not too thick. Yeah, all good. So what we can do, here's one of our dinner plates, which is that big. 270mm, 10.5 inches. Pop that little sucker there. There we go. There's our 2 pasty bases. This one, we'll probably make another one.
We'll get these 2 filled up first.
Yeah, we'll do these first. Okay, so what I like to do is start with potatoes first. So we have, so I like to start off with potatoes first, just through the middle here. I mean, look, oh, these aren't. They're all still diced, they're stuck together. So I always overfill them, so I'm trying not to this time, just so they look pretty at the end. That's not too bad. And then
a little bit more on that one, I think.
a little bit more on that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay. Then your swede. Unfortunately, we don't have fresh swede, so this stuff's been
it's from last year.
Right, from last year's
Yeah.
frozen. Not the best quality, but it's okay. Still got the same flavour. And again, the same amount of swede as potato, and these are going to be too full. Then some onion.
And from our point of view, a proper pasty is layered like this. It's not all the stuff mixed together. It has to be in proper layers.
Yeah, there are lots of ways to do it. There's many ways to cook an egg, as they say. And then your beef. I like to put the beef on the back side, so when we pull it over, it's nearer the top. If that makes sense. So this is skirt beef. It's very cheap cut skirt. You can do steak, whatever you like, but a traditional Cornish pasty uses skirt. And I've never made one on film before.
A little bit. Yeah.
Huh?
Don't be shy.
I'm not being shy. No, there's loads.
So you've got to keep an eye on him.
Yeah. Ovs. Okay, so, and now, because our butter is very melted, we're going to have lumps of butter. It's always good to have a good knob of butter. It gives a nice little gravy within the pasty, which is lovely.
Use all that bit up. Plenty of gravy-ish. It's not going to hurt.
That's plenty.
Turn the oven on.
Turn the oven on to, I'd say, 180, 190 degrees, which is something Fahrenheit.
We'll put it on the screen.
Yeah. Okay, so that's those 4 basic ingredients plus butter, which I'm using butter as a condiment really. Next up, salt. A good sprinkling of salt. Like so. And then black pepper.
Lots of.
A bit of. And then I always like white pepper as well. Andrew's keen, but I like a little bit of heat in my pasty. So, and Andrew hasn't got any choice because I make the pasties. So,
This is true.
Yeah, some people like a really peppery pasty. There we go. And now the egg whites that we left over from
the yolks from the pastry.
And the yolk for the pastry. And we go all around here. Like so. And now I look at them and I think, yeah, there's way too much in there to make.
Squidge them in.
So we have to squidge it all together now. So basically we're just folding this over the top, hoping it will all stay together.
Yes, look at that.
Like so. So sometimes we get rips because I've put too much in.
But it's a nice elastic pastry with the olive oil, I find.
Yeah, and now the crimping, we go from the right to left. It's a cock crimp, and left to right is a hen crimp. Is that right?
I believe so.
But I do a bit of both, so we just crimp that in, roll it over, like so. Oh, bit of butter in there. Awesome. So we do both. Look at this.
Your nubbin will be in the middle then.
Yep. Nubbin. And there's a bit there. So there we go. I won't puncture a hole in it because there's a hole there. And we do the same with this one. This is just a nightmare. I put way too much in. Hey ho.
You can't have too much of a good thing, darling.
No, I know. That's what they always say. Do you know what? I'm better off doing it. I feel more comfortable doing them the other way than this way.
So you're more of a hen crimper.
I'm a hen crimper, see? And again, I've got a hole there, so what I may do, it's really bad, my crimping's really bad, my pastry's a bit thin as well.
No,
it's not the pastry's thin, no, actually,
no,
there's too much inside. So we'll do a little repair on that.
Would have cut it like a bandage, you know, like a little plaster.
Like a bandage.
Yeah.
Little pastry repair. Don't be ashamed to repair your pasty. Same on this one.
Don't forget to... You didn't egg that one?
Yeah, I did.
Did you? Okay. I stand corrected.
Baking tray of appropriate size. Not too much of this because it can burn on the bottom and be horrible, but there we go. And then we transfer just like that. Just like that. There we go.
I still think you should put a couple of little...
Okay, we're going to put some breathy holes now. One, two, let the steam out.
And those, we shall catch up with those guys in about 20-25 minutes?
No, 45 minutes.
Oh, 45?
Yes.
Okay, I stand corrected once again.
45 minutes.
Lovely. See you soon, pasties.
So there we go, that's another one. The other one turned out actually better than these two. That's with the spare bits that was left over. So, right guys, averting disaster. Forgot all about it. Pasty out of the oven. This one out of the oven. What I didn't do,
you
glaze the top with egg whites. So here we go. Zoom in quickly. Zoom, 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 zoom. I don't know what this is going to turn out like now. Should have done this when I put them in, and then because we're recording, etc, etc, I forgot all about it. So
the struggles of being film stars, eh?
oh no, give it a go like that, and hopefully they're not too bad. And
they're smelling.
Yeah, they're smelling good. And now we're popping back in again.
Right, we'll go back and pretend this never happened. Smelling good, darling.
But they've only been in for
not
10 minutes.
Yeah.
So they're good. Whew. Okay, here's the moment of truth.
Oh, God, smelling lovely. Look at that, not looking too shabby.
Not looking too shabby. Not the prettiest of pasties, but it's not about beauty. It's not a beauty contest.
So that's the other one. I'll leave that one in there. So, for tonight's tea, darling, you have...
Bubbly gravy.
Looking forward to this.
Well, let's get it on a plate and have a look at it.
Yeah. Pasty weather, but... There you go, darling.
Thank you. So, pasty has everything you need in it, meat and veg. Yeah.
Would you like me to separate for you?
Ooh. So yeah, you don't need anything with it because it's got everything in it. But what I do like for mine is a little bit of chutney or something. This is spicy tomato chutney by our friend Nikki. Thanks Nikki, awesome. And I'm going to chuck into this. So, the big thanks to Greta, who has got us a
IBC cover.
IBC cover from our Amazon wish list. Yeah, it's awesome. We'll be putting it on there very shortly. Hang on.
There we go. Perfect.
Yeah, thank you ever so much. So what Greta did, thank you Greta, awesome, What she did was she looked at our title, and underneath the title there's a button that says more. If you click the more button, it goes into our description of the video, what's actually happening this week or whenever the video was.
There's lots of other information.
In that description there's all links to all the bikes we've tested, all the everything, the Bluetti and everything, but also in there is a link to our Amazon wish list, which is where Greta clicked on that link and bought that through Amazon for us.
Yeah.
So thank you very much,
Thanks
Greta.
so much,
and
Greta. Really appreciate it.
yeah, and just so everyone knows where they can buy stuff. Anyway.
Yes, we're not putting that on yet because we have a little wasp infestation and we don't want to upset them at the moment. But also, I shall be doing a greenhouse
Clean up.
Yes, it's just quite warm in here. It's warm everywhere at the moment. So, but yeah, this is should be cooling down. I think next week, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll.
Yep. So thank you everyone for watching.
Yes.
Thanks for your likes. Thanks for your subscribes, and thanks for ringing that
Little notification bell. Ding ding.
And we'll see you in the next video.
Bye. Thank you.